There's a brown bottle sitting in your bathroom cabinet right now that probably cost you $1. It's been there for years, mostly forgotten, pulled out only when someone scrapes a knee. But that humble little bottle of hydrogen peroxide is one of the most effective mold-fighting tools money can buy. And a lot of remediation companies would rather you never figured that out. Because once you understand what this stuff actually does, you'll think twice before paying hundreds of dollars for a job you could have handled with what's already under your sink. So before you pick up the phone and call in the pros, stick around. Here are 11 things they're not exactly eager to tell you. Number 1. It kills mold at the root, not just the surface. Most cheap cleaners just smear mold around and hide the stain. Hydrogen peroxide does something completely different. It's a powerful oxidizer, which means when it touches mold, it releases free oxygen molecules that tear apart the cell walls of the spores and the mycelium, the root-like network that mold uses to anchor itself into a surface. In plain English, it doesn't just wipe away what you can see. It attacks the living organism at the cellular level and destroys it. That's a big deal because a lot of products only deal with the visible patch on top while the colony underneath keeps right on growing. Hydrogen peroxide goes after the whole thing. And it's not picky either. It's effective against a broad range of the common household molds you're most likely to run into, including the dark splotchy stuff you find on bathroom grout and the fuzzy growth that creeps across damp walls. So while it looks like a simple disinfectant, it's actually doing some serious chemistry the moment it hits the surface. Number 2. That $1 bottle outperforms the pricey specialty sprays. Walk down the cleaning aisle and you'll see fancy mold and mildew sprays with aggressive labels and price tags to match. Then there's hydrogen peroxide sitting quietly nearby, costing somewhere between $1 and $3 for a 32-ounce bottle. Here's the part the industry doesn't advertise. That cheap bottle holds its own against products costing many times more, and against what a company would charge to come spray your bathroom for you. Think about the math for a second. A professional mold cleanup, even a small one, can run you a few $100s once you factor in the service call, labor, and their proprietary solutions. For many small, surface-level mold problems, you're paying a premium for chemistry you can buy for pocket change. Now, that's not a knock on legitimate remediation work for serious situations, and we'll get to where the line is. But for the everyday spots, the shower corner, the windowsill, the patch behind the toilet, you're often paying a steep markup for convenience, knowing that one fact alone can save the average homeowner a real chunk of money over the years. Number 3, you don't need to dilute it. Here's a mistake that quietly ruins people's results. They assume stronger means dangerous and water it down to be safe. With the standard 3% hydrogen peroxide you buy at the drugstore, that's exactly backwards. That 3% concentration is already considered the minimum effective strength for tackling mold. Dilute it, and you've just weakened your best weapon before the fight even starts. So pour it straight into a spray bottle, no water, no fuss. The 3% bottle is the sweet spot for homeowners, strong enough to do the job, gentle enough to handle without special gear. Now, you might hear about higher concentrations, like the 5 or 6% versions some professionals use in specialized equipment, and they can be even more effective in the right hands. But there's also industrial 35% food-grade peroxide out there, and that stuff is no joke. It can cause chemical burns and respiratory damage, and it absolutely must be diluted before it ever touches a surface. Unless you really know what you're doing, you have zero reason to go near it. For 99% of household mold, plain old 3% straight from the bottle is all you'll ever need. Number 4, it beats bleach where it matters most. For decades, bleach has been the go-to answer for mold, and a lot of people still reach for it on instinct. But here's something the industry won't shout from the rooftops. On porous surfaces like wood and drywall, bleach can actually make your mold problem worse. Bleach is mostly water, and it sits on top of the surface while that water content soaks down into the material, right where the mold roots live. You kill the surface layer, feed the roots, and a couple weeks later, the mold comes back stronger than before. Hydrogen peroxide works differently. It fizzes and effervesces, which helps it penetrate into those porous surfaces and reach the mold that bleach simply can't touch. That bubbling action carries the oxidizing power deeper instead of just glazing the top. That's a huge reason it's often the smarter pick for the materials that make up most of your home. It's not that bleach never has a use, it shines on hard, non-porous stuff. But the idea that bleach is the king of mold removal is one of those myths that's overstayed its welcome. For a lot of jobs, peroxide is the better tool. Full stop. Number 5. The fizzing is proof it's actually working. When you spray hydrogen peroxide on a moldy spot and it starts to bubble and foam, that's not a gimmick. That effervescence is the chemical reaction happening in real time. Those bubbles are oxygen being released as the peroxide oxidizes the organic material it's sitting on, including the mold. So when you see it fizzing, that's literally the sound of the stuff doing its job. This is one of those satisfying little details that makes peroxide great for the average person. You get instant visual feedback. Bleach just sits there looking wet. Peroxide tells you it's working. And here's the practical tip that comes out of it. A good rule of thumb is to let it keep working until the fizzing slows down and stops, which usually lines up nicely with the contact time the surface needs. So don't be alarmed when your grout starts foaming up like a science fair volcano. That's exactly what you want to see. It means the oxidation is in full swing and your mold is on its way out. Number 6. Contact time is the step almost everyone skips. If there is one reason do-it-yourself mold removal fails, it is this. People do not give the hydrogen peroxide enough time to work. They spray, they immediately scrub, they wipe, and they wonder why the mold is back next week. The secret that makes all the difference is dwell time. After you spray the surface and get it good and wet, you need to let the hydrogen peroxide sit for about 10 to 15 minutes before you touch it. That window is critical. It is the time the oxidizing reaction needs to fully break down the mold's cellular structure all the way through, not just on the surface. Wipe too early and you are scrubbing off the top while the reaction has barely gotten started underneath. So spray it, walk away, set a timer, and come back. Once the dwell time is up, scrub the area firmly with a brush or sponge to lift the dead mold and any staining. Then wipe it down with a clean, damp cloth and let it dry completely. For heavier spots, there is nothing wrong with repeating the whole process a second time. Patience here is the single biggest upgrade you can make to your results, and it costs you nothing but a few minutes. Number 7. Keep it in the dark or it turns to water. Ever wonder why hydrogen peroxide comes in that opaque brown bottle instead of clear plastic? It's not a branding choice. Light breaks hydrogen peroxide down, and it does it surprisingly fast. Leave it exposed to light, and that peroxide gradually decomposes into plain water, losing the very power you bought it for. So a clear spray bottle sitting on a sunny bathroom shelf is slowly sabotaging you. This matters more than most people realize. If you transfer your peroxide into a clear spray bottle for easy use, which is exactly what a lot of folks do, you may be spraying watered down nothing within days and blaming the peroxide for not working. The fix is simple. Keep it in its original dark bottle or use an opaque spray bottle and store it somewhere cool and dark like a cabinet, not out on the counter in the light. Treated right, that bottle stays potent and ready. Treated wrong, you've got an expensive way to mist your mold with water. It's a small detail, but it's the kind of small detail that separates results from frustration. Number 8. Never mix it with vinegar in the same bottle. This one is a genuine safety issue, and it's worth burning into your memory. You'll see plenty of cleaning tips online that pair hydrogen peroxide with vinegar, and use the right way they actually complement each other. But you must never combine them in the same container or mix them together on the surface at the same time. When hydrogen peroxide and vinegar are mixed, they form peracetic acid, a corrosive compound that can irritate your skin, eyes, and lungs. So how do people use both safely? Sequentially. You apply one, let it do its work, rinse the surface completely, and then apply the other separately. Some pros even use this kind of 1-2 approach. Vinegar first to penetrate, then peroxide, but always one at a time with a rinse in between, never pre-mixed into a single spray bottle. The takeaway is simple. These are two great cleaners, but they are not friends in a bottle. Keep them apart, use them in turns, and you get the benefits without the nasty fumes. It's the kind of thing that's easy to get wrong if nobody tells you, so consider yourself told. Number 9. It can lighten surfaces, so always spot test first. Here is a caution the quick tip videos love to leave out. Hydrogen peroxide is technically an oxygen bleach. It is chlorine-free and far gentler than the harsh stuff, but it can still lighten or discolor certain materials, especially colored fabrics, finishes, and some upholstery. That is wonderful when you are trying to remove an ugly mold stain. It is a lot less wonderful when you accidentally fade a patch of colored grout, a stained wood trim, or your favorite shower curtain. The solution is easy and takes 30 seconds. Before you treat any colored or delicate surface, test a small, hidden area first. Spray a little, wait, and see how the material reacts before you commit to the whole spot. For anything that is genuinely valuable or sentimental, an antique, a treasured piece of furniture, you may want to be even more cautious or let a specialist handle it. This is not a reason to avoid peroxide. It is just the difference between using it confidently and using it blindly. A quick spot test puts you in control and saves you from turning a mold problem into a discoloration problem. Number 10. It breaks down into plain water and oxygen. One of the most underrated things about hydrogen peroxide is what happens after it's done working. It breaks down into nothing more than water and oxygen. No toxic chemical residue left clinging to your countertops. No lingering harsh fumes filling up a small bathroom. No hazmat aftermath. Compare that to bleach, which gives off strong fumes that can be rough to breathe in an enclosed space, and you start to see why peroxide is so well suited to indoor use. That clean breakdown makes it one of the safer options for the tight, poorly ventilated spots where mold loves to grow. Think bathrooms, closets, and under-sink cabinets. It's also part of why so many people feel comfortable using it around the home in the first place. That said, safer doesn't mean do whatever you want. You should still wear gloves, protect your eyes, and keep the area ventilated while you work, because mold spores themselves can irritate your lungs, skin, and eyes, no matter what you're killing them with. But as cleaning agents go, one that leaves behind only water and oxygen is about as friendly as it gets. Number 11. It has real limits, and knowing them saves you the most. This is the big one, the thing that's genuinely in nobody's marketing interest to spell out plainly, because it cuts both ways. Hydrogen peroxide is fantastic, but it is not magic, and pretending otherwise costs people money in both directions. Here's the honest truth. Peroxide shines on hard, non-porous surfaces: tile, grout, glass, sealed countertops, plastic, and metal. On those, a spray, a weight, and a scrub will handle most small jobs beautifully. But when mold has soaked deep into porous materials, drywall that's been wet for a long time, crumbling or saturated wood, certain insulation, no amount of spraying brings that material back. Long-standing guidance on mold cleanup is clear. Heavily contaminated porous material usually has to be removed and replaced, not just cleaned. Knowing this saves you from spraying the same moldy drywall patch over and over while it quietly needs to be cut out. And there are real stopping points. If you're dealing with a large area, roughly bigger than 10 square feet, or you suspect serious black mold that's penetrated deep into porous materials, that's the moment to stop and call a qualified professional. It's also worth remembering that killing mold doesn't fix the moisture problem that caused it. And even dead mold can still trigger allergies and irritation, which is why physical removal and fixing the leak matter just as much as the spray. Use peroxide for the everyday jobs it's perfect for. Respect the line where DIY ends, and you'll know exactly when you're saving money and when you're protecting your health. So there you have it. 11 things that turn a $1 bottle into one of the handiest tools in your home, and a clear sense of when it's the hero and when it's time to bring in help. Next time you spot a little mold creeping in, you'll know exactly what to reach for. If this video saved you a service call, do us a favor and hit that like button and share it with someone who could use it. And if you want more money-saving home tips like these, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.